Jamaica working to improve the monitoring of overseas employment agencies to help avoid human trafficking. And in sports, Speedster Alzarri Joseph shines despite run spree from the Bangladeshi batsman. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Friday, June 29th. I'll be back with the details after the break. The Jamaica Ministry of Labour and Social Security says it is increasing its monitoring of employment agencies that offer overseas employment to Jamaicans. The Labour Minister, Shaheen Robinson, told the Parliament on Thursday that this is in an attempt to clamp down on the incidence of scams and human trafficking.
We intend to increase our monitoring of employment agencies. Our website is updated regularly so clients can view those agencies that are licensed, and every Sunday there is an ad in the classified section of the newspapers warning persons not to pay monies to people purporting to be able to place them in job overseas. And the Ministry of Labour does not charge money to send people overseas.
To safeguard persons from being trafficked through these false employment agencies, the Labour Ministry will be starting a human trafficking sensitization program with agencies and their clients.
We are also taking steps to amend the Employment Agencies Act to expand the range of breaches covered by the legislation and to allow for the application of stiffer penalty measures.
Jamaican authorities have been battling the scourge of human trafficking for many years, with police stating earlier this year that they had rescued 76 victims, interviewed 3,000, and convicted 4 of the 23 suspected traffickers that were brought before the court. The 2017 Trafficking in Persons report of the United States State Department said that the Jamaica government demonstrated increasing efforts to clamp down on human trafficking, but remains on Tier 2. Still in Jamaica, opposition spokesman on Labour Horace Daly has described the increase in the minimum wage and national insurance scheme pension as inadequate. On Tuesday, Labour Minister Shaheen Robinson announced that the minimum wage will move from $6,200 to $7,000 per week, and industrial security guards will receive $9,700, up from $8,854 weekly. It is scheduled to take effect from August 1st. But Daly says he is disappointed, adding that it is disgraceful that after 2 years, the government could only offer an $800 increase. He says the government should adopt the policy started under the last PNP administration of an incremental increase in the minimum wage at the beginning of each calendar year. Daly adds that the increase to pensioners was long overdue, but does not bring the relief they were expecting to mitigate the impact of price hikes. Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela are close to reaching an agreement on the Dragonfield gas deal. Once this is completed, Minister of Communications Stuart Young says the country will begin to reap the benefits in about 2 years. Negotiations regarding the gas field continue during a meeting held on Wednesday between government representatives and others, including the president of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited in Caracas, Venezuela. The parties spent hours negotiating as they focused on bringing the possibility of the cross-border gas deal closer. According to a statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, there remains a number of areas where further work is required. We get more in this C News report.
Minister Stuart Young said discussions on the Dragon Field in Venezuela on Wednesday went well. He added deals of this nature between two countries are not simple, but said one is not far off.
We have finally narrowed down all of the terms and conditions, and we're outstanding on one item. Yesterday, I think we brought it a bit closer.
Minister Young said a special purpose vehicle involving Shell and NGC will build the infrastructure that would take between 18 months to 2 years to complete. He said one positive is the Dragon Field is close to the Hibiscus Field that is jointly owned by Shell and the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
The Trinidadian government and Trinidadian companies are trying to strike a deal that is obviously beneficial to both sides, and whatever we do will be able to stand up in whatever light and with the greatest amount of transparency and accountability.
He said price remains the main issue to close the negotiations.
Stay with us, your midday sport is next.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. Store drinking water in clean jugs, bottles, and cooking utensils.
Coming up this month on Caribbean Passport, romance, crop over in Barbados, carnival in Antigua and Barbuda, tourism issues, and so much more. So get your passports ready and let's travel.
Fit again, West Indies speedster Alzarri Joseph made an explosive return to competitive action, but Tamim Iqbal and Mohammed struck rapid hundreds as Bangladesh indulged in a run spree on the opening day of their two-day tour match against the Cricket West Indies President's 11 on Thursday. The left-handed Tamim slapped a top score of 125 off 165 deliveries, while Mohammed, a right-hander, stroked 102 from 111 balls, 2 innings that helped propel the tourist race to a massive 403 for 8 at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. Joseph showed no signs of the stress fracture that kept him out of the game for nearly 6 months, spearheading the attack with 4 for 53. However, Tamim led the revival, putting on 90 for the 4th wicket with Hassan, who's 67, who came from just 79 deliveries with 14 boundaries. When Joseph returned to claim Shakib's wicket, Tamim combined with Mahmudullah in a 165-run 5th wicket stand to further bolster the innings. Tamim, attacking by nature, crunched 17 fours and 4 sixes, while Mahmudullah counted a 16 fours and a 6. Kyle struck 40 from 53 deliveries with 7 fours and a 6, while Hassan gathered 28 from 48 balls down the order. A promise has been made by Jamaican Sports Minister Olivia Grange that more will be done to help develop women's cricket in the region. Speaking during a closing ceremony at the Four Seasons during the closing ceremony of the just concluded Women's Championships, which was held in Jamaica, she said the women's game was becoming more prominent in the region and more needs to be done to produce the next generation of players. She said more West Indies women's cricketers were now getting central contracts and becoming household names throughout the region. Grange said the Jamaican government, through the Institute of Sports, had partnered with the Jamaican Cricket Association to stage a primary schools cricket competition where it would be mandatory for 2 females to be included in the squad and at least 1 in the team. Now that's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. But until then, do have yourselves a good afternoon.